Coach Teresa Ford here, and this is the Guiding You Home podcast. This is a thought-provoking and often humorous approach to moving you closer to the only one who can genuinely help you live a life of abundance and prosperity. Sound good? Yeah, it's you that needs to go within so you can sit in the driver's seat of your life, co-creating with God. So make room for more light and knowledge. As you continue to listen, you will discover elements of how to lead with your inner light, how to act on your specific promptings, and how to follow your spiritual intuition so you can fulfill the measure of your creation. Thanks for being here, and let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to Guiding You Home. I have been out for a minute because I have been pretty busy behind the scenes doing a couple TV shows, Legacy Makers, and then the first season of Writer's Island. I'm writing a book called Making Emotional Money, which is a metaphor for coming home to yourself, to operate in the love that you were born in. And then I was creating the Empowered Woman's Journey to Freedom. This is probably the most important work I've ever done, because if I had this body of work when I was a mom, when I was raising 5 young kids, the trajectory of my children's lives would have been much different, much different. So I have spoken a lot on Guiding You Home about emotional immaturity, having a lack of boundaries, codependency, all of those types of things, my entire background. Like that was my life growing up. And those patterns are not forever. We can overcome them, but it takes time. It takes time and self-awareness, really, because if you have self-awareness, guess what? You have the answers to the test. So seeing yourself is the hardest person for you to see. So I'm not saying this is easy, but it is quite simple because it just is a matter of awareness. You're not trying to add one more busy thing into your already jam-packed life. So that is what the Empowered Woman's Journey to Freedom is. It's several different components, all of which have a transformational arc to them, which allows you to start from where you're at and move through this transformation so you can see yourself more clearly. And that is part of guiding you home, right? Coming back home, remembering who you are. So today's episode, you ready for this? It's the slow disappearance of a woman and how the strongest women tend to lose themselves first. So let's dive in, because this is, once again, we're talking to the women. These are the emotional, intelligent women of the world who are the heart of the home. They are the women in the workplace that are bringing change to the forefront of companies, large companies. They're bringing, new ideas into the lives of so many that help benefit us. And we're adding our little contributions to the world, little, but collectively it's big. It's really, really big. So whatever we're doing in our own space and the circle of influence that we have within our families and our friends and our community, it makes an impact. And when you're operating at full potential, it feels so good because you are using your gifts in a very powerful way. Now, disappearing, not very fun. And losing yourself in the process of self-abandonment habits from your childhood, like it worked for a while, and you could show up prepared, perfect, hyper independent, and nobody knew you had needs. Okay, it's me. That's why we have podcasts, because we learn so much. Like, my hard-earned wisdom is free to you. Because if I'm one Sunday ahead of your Monday, then probably I have something to share with you, and something that you can either hear because you're standing right here with me on this journey, or maybe it's preempting the struggle because it's on its way. Burnout, exhaustion, self-doubt, all the things that kind of creep in when we're not really paying attention because we're so busy punching the time clock. And when I say punching the time clock, I don't really mean a 9-to-5 job. I mean, from the time our eyes open in the morning to the time they slam shut at night, we have met the demands of time. So that goes from either we were dragging and we didn't get out of our pajamas and we weren't really happy with the amount of time that our productivity during that time, or we were running so fast it was a blur. We don't remember anything. So either way on those, they're both telling you need to slow down and take a minute for yourself. So let's dive into this, because I have told this story several times, but there's so many applications for it. And when I was in the middle of raising 5 kids, we had just moved out to the country. We were 20 minutes from everywhere. I decided to start homeschooling my kids. And up until that point, I was very much in the achiever. Like, if I could just be good enough, say enough, be bright and shiny enough, that the marker in my family home was that you wouldn't get criticized. It's not that you would get praised. It's just that you wouldn't get criticized. So I was doing anything and everything I could to just stay out of the criticism range of breathing. So the survival mechanism when you're being raised by emotionally immature or emotionally unavailable parents is high. And you are always, always in survival mode, and your head's on a swivel and your nervous system's in fight or flight. There's a lot going on that we just thought was normal behavior. Now, it's not like that for everybody. Sometimes our parents were in a great mood. Sometimes they were having a bad day. Yeah, pretty normal. But on those bad days when we thought maybe we had something to do with their mood, we may have perceived that we had to try harder, be more, show up different. And that's when codependency creeps in. So codependency, just a quick review here. Codependency is, I will care more about your problems than you do. Or, which also, there's self-abandonment, like I don't have needs because yours are more important, right? And the other is, I will try harder to be something that maybe I haven't had the life experience for yet. I haven't had the maturity for yet, and I will step into the role and take over so you don't have to. So we're enabling our parents. We're enabling weak behavior, immature behavior, because no one's holding them to a standard to step in and be the role model that we needed. Okay. So fast forward, I've got 5 kids. Part of that, I felt like I had made a few shifts. I was coming more into my own maturity in raising kids because I had no role model that I really wanted to repeat or model my mothering after. And when I got into motherhood, I had this fantasy, this dream that I was going to have, my kids were going to be running free, barefoot in the yard, tree swings during the day. We would school during the day, but part of that schooling was, learning and exploring and playing and hands-on activities. We went to every museum across the country, just exploring science museums. And it was really kind of a magical time. We lived 20 miles from anywhere, and we were out on this ranch where we would walk to the penny candy store and, spend our time going and perusing the books at the library that was like 3 blocks away. And it was actually a lovely time. I felt very happy and satisfied, but it also happened to be the time frame that this word came into my awareness. I'd never even heard it before, but it was codependency. I was like, what is that? But I had a strong suspicion that it had to do with my marriage, and that I was in a codependent relationship, and that I was carrying a lot of weight on my shoulders, emotional weight. I mean, have you ever heard the term emotional labor? Yeah, it's like giving birth because it's so painful to carry everyone's emotions. So generally when that happens, you have a lot of empathic tendencies. And even though in my childhood, empathy was not shared with me, it was not offered to me. And so I learned to shut my empathic gifts off. And the most important thing in being an empath is staying in your lane. It's not carrying the burden of everybody else, but I wasn't doing that. So I had a very unhealthy version of empathy in my life where I wasn't offering it where it was appropriate. I was offering it where it wasn't appropriate because it caused me to enable somebody else to not really grow up and step into their gifts, right? Because I was going to, well, if you're not going to do it, I will do it. Because that's what happened in my childhood, is that I was the emotional support system for one of my parents. And if they couldn't do it, then I would step in and try and do whatever I could. It was that, or it was disappear. Because sometimes that's what they preferred, is that I would just disappear. So the disappearance of yourself, I'm going to bring it into this little container that when I finally let go of what I was not able to change, because in codependency, you cannot change somebody else, even though you tried your entire life. It's exhausting. You totally lose yourself. And it is a habit of saying, I don't have any needs. Your needs matter more, because that's what we learned in childhood. That's what codependency is. Your parents blowing up and having a meltdown, and you're going to scramble and do whatever has to be done to make that all better so you can have a secure repair, which may or may not have ever come. So when I let go of codependency, there came a time into it, or my codependent behavior, I should say. I stepped into a dressing room to buy bigger pants because I was gaining a lot of weight. I had put myself on the back burner. I was caring about everybody else instead of myself. And I realized that the person I was looking at in the mirror had disappeared. Like, I was like, wow, who's that? Because she's wired and tired and I'm happy and snappy. So there's not a match here. And that's what I'm talking about, is when you lose yourself, and they say lose yourself in the service of others, you'll feel better. It's like, yeah, of course, giving back to the community, to the family, to, the things that matter to us, that is important. It is where we make our highest contribution, but not when we're tired, not when we're exhausted, not when we don't even recognize ourselves in the mirror anymore. That's when it's time for a shift, right? Coming back home to ourselves is the most important work we can ever do, because when we have the energy, when we have the confidence, when we have the self-worth, the self-acceptance, the self-love, guess what? We don't run out of energy. It's the fill your bucket first so you can give everyone else a drink, right? So the dressing room moment really taught me a lot about personal alignment. And I will also say it's probably the easiest alignment that I've ever made, because I was like, whoo, what? Like, if I'm happy and snappy, why am I living like I'm exhausted and tired? And it's not that I was living to be exhausted and tired. It's just that I had 5 kids and I had a very heavy past that I hadn't even begun to deal with or address. And, even though I wasn't working full time, I was a full-time mom, and that was my work. But it's interesting how we can have the life that we really want, which I wanted my kids to run barefoot. I wanted them to feel free to come and go and play. There was a lot of dress ups, and they put on plays. We recorded a whole bunch of fun moments and everything, but it didn't change my ability to be emotionally available because I was so tired. I found myself snapping at my kids. I found myself short-tempered. I found myself ignoring the needs that they had to securely attach with me, to nurture them when they needed nurturing, because I didn't have any empathy for my state of being. Does that make sense? So if you don't have empathy for what you're going through, or the extreme opposite of having empathy, healthy empathy for yourself, is to go into victim mode. Nobody understands me. Nobody can see me. They don't appreciate me. Nobody cares. That is the same. They're both exhausting. And that's where you disappear, because actually you are loved, you are valued, you are cared for, and you are appreciated. It's just that we're not doing it for ourselves. We're waiting for everyone else to give us the thing that's not being offered. Like, the kids are not supposed to do that for us. They will, if you're present with them, they will do that. And naturally, kids hold a very special place for you as their parent in their hearts and their bodies, actually. And they want you to be happy. So they'll come snuggle up to you. They'll pick you flowers out of the yard and bring them to you randomly and different things, because that's just what kids do when they love their parents. But if you were in a situation as a child and you weren't able to overcome the absence of love from your parents, pick them a flower and it didn't really matter to them, they were still unhappy, there's a chance it was really hard for you to receive love from your kids. So all of that, it just culminates. It leads to you cooking dinner and crying and then wiping your tears so nobody sees, because you're not supposed to have needs. Exhausting. And that's where you just slowly disappear. You've got the to-do list, you've got the things, the responsibilities you've got to go get done. If, you're juggling all the balls and one drops, things start to unravel, and we just feel this intensity of keeping on. That's hard. That's hard stuff. So when you keep the schedule, solve the fights, carry the load, you do go unseen unless you're doing some self-care. So we think of, like, my running joke is that there has never been a woman out there who misses her eyelash appointment. That is not self-care. I just want to say that's lovely. It's wonderful if that makes you feel good, but it will not help you grow emotionally. Emotionally, we got to go in and do the inner work. We have to tap into your nervous system, your belief system, because when you have a thought, whatever direction that thought is headed towards the loving side of things or the fearful side of things, that thought triggers your nervous system right back here at the edge of your brainstem, and it sends out this chemical soup through your body. It's doing this on the nanosecond, not like now, and now, right? It's sending out this chemical soup that tells every cell in your body, every organ, every part of you, I'm safe or I'm not safe. And to the varying degrees in which that signal is sent, like run for your life, this is unpleasant. So somewhere in that range of unsafe and then safe, all is well. This is great. I love it, right? That's in the safe category. So when your body is experiencing the effects of your thoughts through the nervous system, and then your body matches, it goes in and finds the exact emotion that is in perfect alignment with the signals your nervous system sent out. That's how you walk around in the world, is feeling. And that feeling is the first thing that you can identify, right? So when you start to feel safe in your body, I feel safe, I feel good, I feel seen, I feel accepted, I feel pleasant, I feel peaceful. Those are all emotions that are a product of better thoughts, which is part of your self-care plan. So then you don't disappear. You don't self-abandon, because self-abandonment always has anxiety attached to it. Oh my gosh, am I going to be able to keep up? Am I going to have enough energy for all of this? Am I there's things that aren't getting done because I'm so busy and focused in this one direction. Whatever that is, it's the most important thing is that you are finding the self-awareness from your mind through your body. And when you identify that emotion, you can go trace it back, reverse engineer it to the thought you had and which side of the emotional scale that thought was leaning. Is it leaning towards love, peace, ease? Is it leaning towards fear, anxiety, scarcity, right? Whatever side the thought is leaning towards, your body is feeling all of it. And 100%, it's feeling everything from the past. Everything that's ever happened is right here. Your body's experienced it. It was there when it happened. And for better or worse, we are trying to operate in this world according to how we feel. So when we're tired and exhausted and emotionally depleted, self-doubt, yeah. Exhaustion, yeah. Short-tempered, moody, you bet. It's all happening, right? And our bodies are all going through a rhythm of their own too. We've got to consider our sleep and our cycle and our and our age, and the different changes that happen over time. So much going on. It's funny because when I had my fitness studio, I would have women just do a plank. You know what a plank is, right? It's just on your elbows and on your toes. And there were like 25 things to think about. You're like, no, you just hold a plank. It's like, no, you want to push away from the ground, out of your shoulders, so you're not sitting in your shoulder sockets. You need to squeeze your glutes. That is the key to tightening your abs and supporting your middle, right? And so, and then you want to breathe like nothing's happening. You don't want to hold your breath or anything like that. You want to lock your knees because that is really going to put more in your core. You're going to lift your hips because again, that locks your core in, helps you squeeze your glutes. And like, there's I'm telling them in this 30-second window, squeeze your glutes, lock your knees, press out from the ground, right? And lift. I'm telling them all these things and they're so busy up in their mind, but they are getting more done in less time because they're using more muscles. And it was really this idea that you are actually making more progress, getting stronger faster, doing a plank correctly than just wait it out, hope time passes fast, watching yourself sag in the middle. Now we have a back issue waiting to happen. Our shoulders are hurting because we're sinking way down into our shoulder sockets. That is so much harder to do it wrong than to do it right. So when we get hold of our nervous system, when we start thinking better thoughts and we notice the outcome of the better feeling and energy that we're creating in our body, because it's not wasted on negativity, it's being increased in the positivity, right? There's an ROI, return on investment. When we think positive thoughts, it feels good, our energy's high, our focus is clear, like lots is going on to help us get more done in less time. We're not just spinning our wheels and exhausting ourselves so that we disappear and we're like, self-soothing late at night, cookie, cake, ice cream, fork, spoon, go, which is a coping mechanism for disappearing, for losing yourself. So the truth about all of this is that the self-abandonment, it's not failure. It's just that you're working harder to get something done that's less effective. Does that make sense? I hope you're hearing in the metaphors that we can actually be way more productive. And even though it requires so much more awareness, we can be so much more productive when we are doing something that actually compounds our efforts and it increases our energy and our ROI. And now we are working with ourselves, not against ourselves, which is what self-abandonment is. It's going against our true nature to feel energized, right? So we're not trying to fall apart on purpose. And we're having meltdowns because we need an outlet. So it's not wrong to do that either. But it is a symptom and a side effect that we're taking on too much and not allowing enough time for recovery, for regeneration, for the kind of self-care that really makes a difference when we're thinking about the thoughts we're thinking about and we're checking in to see what is a yes in our body and what is a no. Are we saying yes to the no's? Because that's exhausting. We're doing things out of obligation. That's codependency. I'll care more about your problems. I'll do what you need me to do so you can be happy. And that's really not helping you. Now, if you do something because you want to, that isn't codependent, right? If you want to do it because it's a yes in your body, it's going to be fun. You're going to enjoy it. There's going to be a return on that energy that you spend, right? So hopefully in this episode that you've picked up that the solution is not more discipline. The solution is remembering to listen to what you need. What do you need? Because you probably need to make sure that the girl in the mirror is someone you recognize. You probably need to feel rested and not overworked. You need to feel appreciated in your own thoughts, in your own mind about what you've done, and give yourself credit for everything that you do every single day. One of my favorite sayings is that you have never, ever opened your eyes first thing in the morning and decided, today I think I'll suck. It's just never happened. You put your best foot forward every single day, but let's put it forward in a way that works for you. Let's do it so that it matters in your energetic outcomes. You feel better. You feel more seen, more heard, more validated within yourself. And you can see that it's helping you come back to yourself, come home to yourself, remember who you are. So you're not scattered in 10 different ways, feeling like you're never going to get it all done, but instead you pull it back in and you only do those things that matter and that have a really high rate of return when you put your energy towards it. Okay? So if there's anything I can do to help you, please let me know. If you'd like to join me in the Empowered Woman's Journey to Freedom, click on the link below and we'll get started. Okay, bye my friends. Thanks for listening. I invite you to leave your feedback and share your aha moments as you listen to this podcast. Also, you can access more information or any of the programs, courses, or worksheets that I've mentioned on these episodes on my website at teresaford.life. Or what I would really love is for you to connect with me on Instagram at teresaford.coaching and on Facebook at Coaching with Teresa Ford, so I can give you more interesting insights and further coaching to help you fulfill the measure of your creation.